Yeah, 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 yeah. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead. I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head. I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. I left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't tryna trade my time, yeah. Simply wanna show you what I'm worth, yeah. Daily I'ma stay on my ground. Have a little faith and go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm gonna ride like every day, 'cause I want everything. I can do anything. Check my resume. It's people against you. They see what you've been through. But look in the mirror, tap into your spirit. It's power within you. Like LinkedIn, I'm locked in, get the job done when I clock in. I weighed out my options, put the work in, that's action, no lacking, just stacking. Big dreams I'm attracting, no accidents, that's fate. Just go in and have a little faith. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead, I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head, I'm gonna make them manifest. And I'm dressed for success. I left, right, order my steps. Network, I ain't gotta do it by myself. Who you know, show me who you know. Better let them know we bout to blow. It's time to go, go, go. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah. Go to work, get to work, yeah. Go to work, yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't tryna trade my time, yeah. Simply wanna show you what I'm worth, yeah. Daily I'ma stay on my grind, yeah. Have a little faith and go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go to work. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, now go nuts.
Hey there, I'm Trevor Houston, the creator of the Who You Know Summit, and I'd like to welcome you to the Who You Know Job Networking Show.
On our program, we'd like to show you the job search like you've never seen.
Everything from getting noticed by employers, how to properly format your resume, and how to network effectively using LinkedIn to drive recruiters to your profile.
We even take suggestions from our amazing community.
So if you want to learn all things job search, go ahead and subscribe now.
Focus! It's all about the job search. So if you want to learn how to land that next success, you heard them. All you got to do is subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss out on a thing. Welcome to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
Who you know makes all the difference in your job search.
What he said.
it definitely can. And so I'm super excited about today's show. We're going to be dropping some mics, I promise. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do also want to see who do we got with us in the comments, in the chat. I saw a few people in here. Special shout out to Tony with the keys.
Tony with the keys.
Who
What's
wrote
up, on now.
our Go to Work song. That soundtrack y'all heard in the intro.
I can see y'all bumping in there. That's a good song right there.
Yep,
It
I
is a
saw
good
Ira
song.
was. We got who we got? We got Jamie Villanueva,
my
David
brother.
Kavanaugh, Mike Mediterranean,
Mike Mediterranean.
lady named Uni Elder. Hey Uni, how's
Is that
it
the
going?
wifey?
Hey
That's that lady
sweetie.
that reads all those books.
Yeah, Vicky Bo, Jason Hopper. Always good to see you,
Bo.
Jason. Hope Mangita, gotta have hope.
Absolutely.
Oh, you gotta have that.
And I'm going to give a couple shout outs over there on Heather Monahan's channel because we're connected on her LinkedIn. So shout out to over there at Heather Monahan's channel. Y'all need to get in those comments. Let me give you some shout outs. We'd love to welcome you. So Marcello, what's good? How are you doing? I see Mark Jaro. Good to see you. And Haley Donaldson. Thank you for tuning in to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. And what we like to do, guys, is when you come into the show, not only we want to know where you're tuning in from, because we get people from all over the place, right? Rep your city, right? Tell us where you're tuning in from, but then tell us what you're doing here. So if you're looking for a job, I want to know what you're looking for. So you can put hashtag project management or QA, accounting and finance, whatever it is that you're searching for. Okay, and then if you're hiring, if you're recruiting, if you are a coach, let us know what you're doing here. We'd love to give you a shout out if you are supporting the network as well. All right, so let's see who else we got with us. Chandra Thomas.
Sonia Lessa.
Hey, Lena Stoots Boots in the house.
Stoots Boost. From Houston.
Sonia
Boots.
Scott. Sonia Leza. Am I saying that right?
Sonia Lessa.
Leza.
Lessa.
You know I can't read. Jason Hopper, we love you. Saw you this morning in Coach's Corner. He's a career coach, y'all. Y'all need to connect with him over at Jewish Family Services of Greater Dallas. Connect with him. William McLaughlin, what's good?
Hey,
How are
William.
you?
Hey, William.
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to William because, man, you're always involved, you're always engaged, you always got a smile on your face. So,
100%.
Yep, yeah, we
And a
enjoyed having you as
special
part of the
shout-out to
network.
Ira Bowman out west. Y'all check out Bowman Media because that is my man and the whole 50 grand. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on, son. Well, guys, we like to always bless this show with a prayer for the listeners. Foster, will you do us the honors, please, sir?
Okay, I'll be glad to do that. Guys, we don't have a transactional gospel, you know. If we do good, God will love us. Jesus has already died on the cross for us, y'all, years ago. So, if we love God, we will read His Word, and we will want, because we love Him, we will want to serve Him in the way that He tells us to do. He tells us to do, y'all. Okay, so, Father God, we're coming to you because we're looking for a job. You created us. We're all your children, and we are children. We're learning, and we want you to guide us to that right opportunity that you want us to be so that we can put together all of those gifts that you've given us in each and every one of us. And we thank you for those gifts, and we thank you for guiding us along. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Well, we got a lot to be thankful for. We've had some landings over the last couple of weeks, and a lot to be grateful for. We just had Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, how about them Cowboys? Ugh.
We love the Cowboys. We love the Cowboys. Y'all, come on now.
It's hard to be a Cowboy fan these days. But anyway, I digress. We got a lot to be grateful for. Anyways, a lot of people are back to work, so let's get our donut emojis and our cash flow ready. Who do we got, Mark?
Yep, get your cash flow guns ready. We got Albert Stadler. Albert Stadler, hey,
go.
congratulations. We got Ken Lehman. Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
We got Craig Nolan. Craig Nolan.
Yeah, no, look at all
Joyce Tilsch. Joyce Tilsch. Hey, congratulations, Joyce. And Steve Green. Hey,
Steve Green,
great to see you.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Cash flow.
Cash
Yeah,
flow.
so much cash.
Guys,
I'm out of cash.
these folks have gotten back to their cash flow, and they are now looking at paying it forward. So make sure that you connect with them. As I always say, to hear their story about how they got landed, what worked for them, maybe what didn't work for them, as well as whether or not those companies are hiring, because they may be looking for you. So, and these folks, they're Who You Know alumni, they are looking to pay it forward. So they are looking to help you get your foot in the door already. So make sure you connect
it's all about
with them.
relationships, and these folks are ready to do what it takes to get you back to your cash
You
flow.
will reap what you sow.
Sow a good seed. Let's go. All right. So congrats to all of our Who You Know alumni. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing what life has in store for you with that next best success. As a man.
And we had something come up today, so
Yeah,
I know you got the tip.
Yeah, that's what this is about. All right, guys, I got the tip of the week. Okay,
Tip.
Tip of the week. I want you to take a look inward at the energy that you are projecting outward. Okay? So let me say that again. I want you to take a look inward at the energy you are projecting outward. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying this, and this is even for myself sometimes, guys, I'm going to just put it to you this way. We had a situation this morning in our summit where normally, I'm going to tell you, we give. We do a ton of value in our summit. It's transformational. It helps people so much. And we always ask the question, where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? And now, at the end of the summit, now where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? How are you feeling? And we get 10s like crazy. People are loving it. It's all free 99 to the community, and we give of ourselves to our community. And it's extremely rare that I get people hating and giving ones, and literally like it was almost like it was like a hater, like so negative and just like, oh, this sucks and blah, 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 and they were like a trolling, almost like a troll. And so I was like kind of thrown back by it, because that never happens, guys. Like, it
Very
never happens.
rare.
So I was kind of like, okay, what's going on? So I reached out to the guy. I was like, hey, is everything okay? Like, are you all right? You doing okay? You know, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you're having a bad day. You know, what's going on? And he was still just hating. And there was just so much negativity. And I said, hey, listen, I got to stop you. I just want you to know, like, I want you to take a look inward at the energy you're projecting outward. That may be why you're not working right now. Like, this could be part of the reason why you're not working.
Yeah.
If you're treating us this way,
Yep.
and
Other
here
people
we
get
are
it too,
giving you free, literally serving you, and you're treating us this way, what are you doing to the rest of the world? How are you treating the rest of the world? And if that's the energy you're projecting, no one's going to want to hire you.
That's the truth.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyways,
Yeah.
guys, sometimes we need that reality check, and I gave him that reality check.
Yeah.
And to your point, a lot of times, like, we don't stop and look inwardly like that, right? And we don't realize, and even if we have some of these feelings, they're suppressed, and we don't think they're coming out, but like you said, they're projected.
Oh, yeah.
They manifest themselves in our words and our actions, even if we don't intend it. And so you got to be really careful, especially with the situation of a job search, right? Where you're already feeling like, hey, this is a really, really insurmountable task.
Yeah.
You know, where do I start? And people are already frustrated.
Yeah, they're
We
frustrated.
want to be confident in our job search, but guys, some of us are a little too confident, and that's, hey guys, that drives people away, especially employers. Just something to think about. We're not trying to get on anybody's nerves.
Well,
We're just,
you know what? On that note, we're
Yeah.
going to ask Heather Monahan here in just a second
Yeah,
about that, because
yeah.
she's got her book, about building confidence, right?
Yeah.
And so you're right. There's a difference between being confident and being arrogant.
yeah,
Right,
there it
so
is.
we'll
There's the
ask
word.
her about
There
that.
It is.
Yeah, people out there that
Oh,
are
yeah.
like super arrogant,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and
I can
then
name
there's
a couple.
confidence, all right? And confidence is important. So I want to
Yeah,
ask her about
yeah.
that. That's a great point.
Well, and the other thing I want you guys, is the viewer audience, to keep in mind is open-mindedness, right? A lot of you have been through our summit. If you have not, I really strongly suggest and urge you to join. Again, it's free. But a lot of people, right, when they come through and they get these services and they get help, right, they're open-minded.
Yeah.
But if you're not open-minded, and we talk about this, the fear zone, right, in our workshop, and getting from the fear zone, your comfort zone, to the fear zone, to the learning zone, and then the growth zone, you're never going to get to the learning or the growth zone if you don't have an open mind.
Yeah, well, fear will do that. Fear will shut your mind down to any opportunities. You'll be just too afraid to, see past anything. So absolutely. So, all right, guys, that's my tip of the week. Is
Yeah,
take a
good
look
tip.
inward at the energy you're projecting outward, and it could give you a clue,
We wanna
right,
get
as to what's
these.
really going on. It could be you. I'm not saying it is, not for my audience. My audience is thebomb.com. But it could be. I'm just saying. Anyways, guys, we got to go to a real quick break, but don't go anywhere because I promised some mic drops. We got Heather Monahan in the house.
If anyone is out there and you're a realtor or you are looking to get your real estate license, it's a very low cost entry, $300 to take your real estate course online. Inexpensive compared to like a college. EXP is $150 to join and it's like $84 a month. So relatively speaking, these are very inexpensive costs. If you are interested in that and you want to work with me as a realtor, I'd love to have you join my team, and you want to hear about the model, then go to join10xempire.com, and I do this opportunity call every Tuesday. Would love to answer your questions and tell you more about what I'm doing. If anyone out there is interested in working with me.
Very fine line between fear and excitement. And when you lean into that fear and really push through it, that excitement resonates with you and you can really take that on, that new opportunity and new life that everybody I think is looking for.
Glorious, glorious, I feel glorious, glorious.
Welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
Who y'all know?
who you know?
Who you know.
Who
That
do
makes a
you
difference
know?
in your job search.
It
Yep.
definitely does.
A
But let me tell you
glorious
who
difference.
I know. Guys, I'm super excited to introduce us, the Who You Know Nation, again to Heather Monahan, who is a two-time best-selling author, a top 100 podcaster, a top 50 keynote speaker, CEO, a Harvard faculty member, TEDx speaker, an amazing friend of the Who You Know show. And the last time she was here, she dropped so many mics with her book, Confidence
We ran out of
Creator,
mics.
that today we're going to be discussing how to overcome your villains. So everyone, let's give a warm Who You Know welcome to Heather Monahan. Let's go!
What's up, guys?
What's up, Heather?
Heather, we're so excited. I can't wait. We're going to drop so many mics. But I want to just dive on in, okay? So I read a recent Forbes article mentioned that 70% of Americans, or 70% of people, have experienced some form of discrimination in the workplace. And I know you've had your fair share of toxic work environments. So for those who didn't watch your last appearance, can you quickly do a recap about your journey and how you were fired by your villain?
Okay, at a high level, to keep this quick, I will say that I got into radio at a young age, did really, really well, starting out as an account executive, hitting the street, selling advertising, right? Radio spots, so air, and which is a challenging sell, by the way. And so I did really well with it. I made my way up the corporate ladder. And over a 14-year period at the same company, I was promoted 3 different times. I was the chief revenue officer. I was named one of the most influential women in radio in 2017. And 3 weeks later, I was fired when the CEO I had been reporting to became ill and decided to elevate his daughter to replace him. And she was my arch nemesis, villain at number 1, and gave me the greatest gift in the world and fired me and got me out of the radio business.
Well, I want to know from the audience if you could relate. Have you ever had a boss Mark and I were talking about this. A boss that is like the villain in your story. Like I've been fired before, and I know that I've been fired on my own doings. Like I was my villain, and I've been fired by like a true villain. Like the boss was just a jerk, right? So I've had both. How many of you in the chat? I want to know if you've ever been fired by your boss, the villain in your story,
or a peer.
I've never been fired. I have never. I've never been fired. I don't know if it's just such a nice guy or.
Have you been working? Are you in the work world?
No, I have never been fired. But you know,
that's a rarity. That's a rarity.
You have not lived until you've been fired.
I fell
Yeah, no, I really believe, I'll tell you, when I was fired, I'm a type A overachiever, and I couldn't believe that I was fired.
Yeah.
So when I was fired, I Googled who is successful in life that has ever been fired. And it turns out Mark Cuban, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, J.K. Rowling, the list goes on and on. The most successful people in the world getting fired was that pivotal moment in their life. So what I'm going to say to you, if you haven't been fired, get yourself fired. Let's go.
Man, I need to get fired. I need to fire myself.
Get yourself fired today.
Get out there and get yourself fired.
How you going to get fired on the day off?
Yeah.
So I got a question.
Come on,
Your new book, right? Villains, right? Who did you write that for? Is it who's your target audience? Was it CEOs, entrepreneurs? Did you have an audience specifically in mind?
Okay, so I'm a big fan of data doesn't lie, right? So I always want to look at what is the data telling me, and the data will direct me in regards to what I'm going to create or what my next move is. It makes you a little bit more fail-proof, right? So when I get comments in my DMs on LinkedIn, on Instagram, wherever, or emails sent in to me, I was seeing a common thread, which was, how did you go from fired to a TEDx speaker, to an adjunct professor teaching a class at Harvard, to a keynote speaker, to an author? How did these things happen so fast? What were the steps that you took? So basically the data was telling me people wanted me to provide a roadmap, not only to overcome adversity, but specifically to overcome getting fired, being unemployed, feeling down and out, and feeling like you've lost everything. And that was the concept that I originated Overcome Your Villains from.
Wow, it's so true too, because I mean, if you can imagine, like I remember being fired from a villain when I was working at Harley Davidson. The owner there was nuts. He was crazy. But anyway, I'm not talking bad about him, but he was nuts. He fired me and made up lies about me, said I was acting a fool in the middle of the showroom and cussing and doing all kinds of. He made up lies about me so I wouldn't get unemployment. So I get fired right before Christmas. Right before Christmas, I get fired, lied about, made people write false statements about me. I was crushed.
Man, that's a villain.
I was like, So I know, like it's a lot to overcome that,
Trevor, I'll tell you, one of the things my villain did to me, she reported my phone stolen. I had a company phone as a chief revenue officer. I worked there 14 years. I had a company computer. I had a company phone. She reported it stolen.
No.
And I mean, some of the crazy antics people will go to. But one thing I want to point out for anyone listening, that's about them. That's about emotion. That's not about business decisions, right? That's an emotional reaction. That boss, Trevor, that you were working for, he acted emotionally. And when you respond to someone else, when you're acting out of emotion, you're going to lose every single time.
That's true. I mean, anytime like we act in emotions, you're absolutely right. Like what is it? Cool heads prevail or something like that. What's the saying? Cool heads prevail. Just like get away from the situation for a while, clear your head out, and then come back to it, and you'll be much more capable of solving the problem than in the moment when you're heated and you're like, ah.
When you're heated, you're going to make the wrong decision.
Right?
Yeah, I raise my hand.
say things you don't mean.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, here's the thing. When you react to what someone else does or says, you're giving them power over you. And that was a big moment, a big epiphany in my life, is when I learned, hang on, if I react to her right now, I'm letting her puppeteer and control me. If I take a moment, get calm and centered and think, look at this from a logistic business standpoint, I am in control of myself. And that was a really empowering moment for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the last time you were here, you talked a lot about, building confidence. Right, and so I've got this over here. If I can get the camera pointed over here, you even talked about your own little cardboard cutout. And that's where this came out after your episode. Holly sent me this, and I got this cardboard cutout over here. And but I just thought it was super cool. And before you came on, we were talking about the difference between confidence, being confident, and arrogant.
Yeah.
All right. Can maybe you talk to that a little bit? Like, some people out there that's super arrogant.
Yeah. So, I like to use myself as an example because that's the lens from which I see things through. I remember at a point in my life, in my young 20s, I was very, very insecure, but I didn't want the world to be able to see that. So I would instead show up as this amplified version of myself, super loud, super aggressive. And many people would see me as arrogant. I would hear that she's very arrogant. The funny thing is, when you show up as that over the top person, you're actually the most insecure person in the room. Ooh. So there's this massive disparity between true confidence, which can be very silent, very calm, really peaceful, and this person that's extremely arrogant, over the top. They're trying to compensate for how they really feel inside. So never think those two are a fine line away. They're worlds away.
Wow. That's a really good point.
It is.
Well, I need to know from my audience because I get loud sometimes. Y'all know me. I get loud. You just tell me, am I confident or arrogant? Which one is it? I don't know. Narcissistic, whatever. Hey, listen, this was sent to me, okay? I didn't make it, all right?
Yeah.
We were asking earlier. I was like, is this narcissistic? I don't know. What is this?
Well, that's a big word.
Trevor, the reason why I had this, I believe I told you the story that I was leading teams across the country. I wasn't getting the response. If I wasn't in market, in meetings face to face with my team, I wouldn't get the same response. I started sending out cardboard cutouts of myself only to make them laugh and to make them remember, hey, I'm here with you. I might not be in the building today, but I'm here with you in spirit. And it had a really powerful impact. And then when I couldn't get meetings with clients, I started sending those. And then that was game over every single time I would send when I get the meeting.
Well, I thought it was beautiful. Like, mic drop for that.
Yeah.
It's how you got on Steve Harvey's show, right?
Right. Yeah.
Love that. Like, I think it's brilliant. So anyway, kudos to you. Let's dive in. Yeah.
Sitting here as a recruiter, and guys, I've been recruiting a couple of years. So let me tell you something, guys. If you're over the top, we will discover your resume. We may love it. Oh my God, I found Heather Monahan, and look at what she is a fit for this position. Then when I talk to Heather, then I have to introduce Heather to a hiring manager. Then I'm a little skittish if Heather's over the top. I'm a little skittish to do that because that hiring manager is going to say, what'd you do sending me this Heather Monahan woman? She acts the way she acts.
That's true. An introduction, you got to make sure that, no one's going to introduce you if you're acting a fool. Acting crazy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But here's the thing to that point. Number one, show up as yourself. I don't get caught up in this, well, so-and-so is not going to like you. Then that's not my person. That's not my job, right? I don't want, if somebody's going to be intimidated by a big personality or a big voice, you know what, that's not my person. And I wish I had known this, 10, 20 years ago. I used to fight to stay in a company that wasn't the right. I was too big for the opportunity I was in. I had outgrown it. I was always trying to dim my light so they wouldn't feel intimidated. Those are not your people. And somewhere there is a room where there is a chair available for you to sit. Well, they were they're going to be excited to have you there. They're going to say, turn up your light, bring your crazy antics. We are your people. So find your people. Show up as you.
Yeah, find your people. That's right.
Your people.
Man.
Yeah. There you go. Mic drop.
Find your people carefully, y'all. I'm a recruiter now.
Well, I want to get back to the book because I mean, super, super impactful and just the whole premise of the book. But can you talk to us a little bit about the villains? Because, what we're talking about in a lot of your experience, really at the core of it, I think back to childhood, right? And we're really talking about bullies. That's another maybe way to frame it. But can you tell us, what other types of villains do you talk about? And what are the types of villains?
There's a number of different kinds of villains. The worst villain you're ever going to encounter is the one that lies between your own two ears, hands down, right? That's the one
give me a mic.
Sabotage you, crush you, and hold you back from everything in your life. However, I'm a big believer, and I share this in the book. I believe you need to clear out the villains around you to really tackle the one within you, because for a long time for me, when I was pointing outward, because there was a villain, literally a villain that flew around with a nasty cape, right? And everybody knew it. And that person was in my world coming at me on the daily, whether it be passive aggressive or games or negative comments. It was obvious I had a villain in my life. Everyone saw it. Everyone felt bad for me. As long as I allowed that villain to remain in my space, I was never going to take on the one inside of me because I was too preoccupied with the one I was dealing with during the day. So it's critical to clear out the villains around you so you can start addressing the most impactful, important one, which is the one that resides within you.
Man, that's so impactful right there. Okay, so you also, in your book, you talk about a 3-step process to overcoming challenges. Can you talk to us about the 3 steps?
Yeah, this is a powerful and proven process that works anytime, all the time, and every time. So I'm living proof, and the people, the testimonials to the book are already attesting it works. So this 3-step process is around beliefs, actions, and knowledge. Let me give you an example. When I was fired, I had this belief, I've lost everything. So the first thing you want to do is distill that belief to the most simplistic shred of fact you can find. When I took that step 1 in the process, I said, I didn't lose my network, didn't lose my expertise, didn't lose my friends, my family, my health, didn't lose all of the networking that I've created over all these years, my personal brand, didn't lose anything. Wait a minute, I lost a paycheck. So when I distilled it down, I didn't lose everything, I lost one thing. And that one thing was a paycheck. And then I started to reflect, I've gotten paychecks from different places. I'm not sure where I'm going to get my next paycheck, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to find one. So that's step 1. Step 2 is take action immediately. I was fired. I distilled the belief and I said, okay, I need an action step. Boom. I'm going to go to social media and I'm going to post. I have just been fired. If I've ever helped you at all in the past 14 years, I need to hear from you now. I made a very specific request. I took an action step, right? That was my number 2 action step.
Mic drop.
Okay, then number 3, it's knowledge. Be really intentional about the knowledge you're surrounding yourself with and accessing. Some people might say, I'm going to go to my mother's house and ask her, what should I do next? Well, if your mother's never been fired from a big corporate job and had to bounce back, that is not the right person to access for knowledge. For me, I jumped on a plane. I went to the Elvis Duran show. I met with someone who was light years ahead of me. And halfway through that meeting, he looked at me and said, well, obviously you're writing a book, but I wasn't writing a book. However, I had surrounded myself with the right people who were steering me in the direction that I never even saw for myself. Never ask people who haven't been where you're going for directions. And that's step 3, knowledge.
Man. Woo! That's so true. How you gonna ask somebody for directions they ain't been there before? Like what? Like, come on now. Come on, son.
And we do that a lot because we like a lot of people and we go to them for what we think they are go-to people, and they are absolutely not.
That's absolutely true. The other thing I like what you said was you posted it right away. Immediately you posted and you asked for help. You said, hey, if I've ever helped you, if I've ever provided any value, I need to hear from you right now. I just got fired. Like, you weren't shy about it. A lot of times we see these job seekers, there's like, what's the word I'm looking for? They're ashamed of
shame.
Shame. And no, like you put that shame aside for a second and you were like, I need some support. I need my network. You went right to your network and you posted
Trevor,
it.
let me tell you one thing I've learned the hard way. The only way to truly extinguish shame is to shine a light on it. The minute you do that, you are not held back by shame anymore. You claim the shame instead of allowing the shame to claim you. I can't see you.
I love that. The only way to get rid of the shame is to put some light on it. Shame is the enemy. It's the enemy.
Well, and I also love you going back. You had said that your identity, right, and it was in your friends, your family, right, your network, the things that you've done. Like, so many of us get wrapped up in our work identity.
Correct.
Right, that we forget about, or we fail to be able to recognize who we really are, and who we really are is who we are to the people that matter most to us.
Man,
right?
Amen. I'm going to give you my drop for that.
The conditioning in this world leads us to think that we need more.
I don't know. I see it as fluid, right? So I was a chief revenue officer in media. This woman fired me for whatever reason she had. I wasn't the right person for her, which is fine. That's great. I get it. Right now that I'm looking back and reflecting, I get it. I was not the right fit for her. However,
it doesn't sound
I tied up a lot of my self-worth in my paycheck and my title. But as I moved out of that company, at first I thought maybe I'm nothing without the company. What I've learned instead is maybe the company is nothing without me, right? Sometimes we need to flip it around and say, hang on, why are we giving all of our value and power to the other side? Maybe we can choose to look at it from a different perspective. And as I began to detach from that company, I really became more confident because I didn't attribute my success to anyone else other than intrinsically to me. And that made me feel safer. That made me feel stronger. And to know I can go into any industry. I can take my unique value proposition, my unique skills and talents wherever I want to go and create success. And I'm not chalking it up to a company standing behind me. I'm chalking it up to me. And that's what I want people to know is you have that power within you. You've just got to take that step.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, and I'm this way, a lot of people, they're trying to make everybody happy, right? And they feel like if they don't, then, you know, they're failing, right? That they're not able to maintain relationships, and that's just not true. And you know, I love what you're saying because you have to be bold and you have to accept that. You know, you're going to tick people off. You have to be comfortable being able to accept that. You're not going to make everybody happy, and that's that's something that I struggle with.
Well, I know because you're Mr. Nice Guy. Everybody loves Mark. I mean, you're like the nicest guy in the world, and when someone is mean to you, it shocks me. I'm like, how is they mean to Mark? Like, why Mark? He's the nicest guy on the planet.
But see, some people, they look at that and they're like, oh, well, that's a positive, right? I mean, oh, everybody likes you. You're nice, but it actually works against you more than you know, right? More than I think people realize. So, and more than like I said, I've got to work on it because
be confident in yourself.
It works against me.
You're going to get it.
Yeah, it's about creating boundaries. I think that a lot of people get confused with this idea, I'm too nice versus I'm being taken advantage of, right? There's a fine line right there. So I like to see it as there's no such thing as too nice. You could be the most generous person in the world, the nicest person in the world, but there is a thing about being taken advantage of. There's a thing called not having boundaries, and putting yourself first and creating boundaries and holding them is a nice thing for you to do for you. And that's something that, everyone can work on.
Amen to that. All right, guys. We've had a bunch of mic drop moments. Don't go anywhere because I promise you we got some more, but we got to go to a real quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Again.
Hey, Trevor Houston here, and if you're looking for connections to opportunities, free seminars and workshops, to the knowledge and tools you need, and individualized one-on-one coaching for solid plans and solutions, Career and Financial Services is here for you with a holistic approach to educate, empower, and guide you to achieve your desired future. Call today to learn more about how the coaches can assist you to reach your career and financial success.
You have something unique to offer your next employer, whether it's your experience or your work ethic or your passion or your personality. But how do you stand out from the crowd when you're stuck sending plain text emails that lack personality, lack humanity, and worst of all, look like every other email in the inbox? Job seekers just like you are discovering how easy it is to put their humanity back into their communication and back into their job search with BombBomb Video. Visit BombBomb.com to start a free trial today and rehumanize your job search.
Well, welcome back to the Who You Know Job Networking Show, where what you know is important, but
who you know?
Who you know?
Who you know?
Sing that song. Sing that song.
Yeah, sing that, Mark.
Sing that song.
Do it. Let me hear you.
Do it again.
Confidently.
Who you know?
Opera.
Man, my voice is still
Opera.
scratchy, man. I lost my
Wow.
voice last week. But
All
hey,
right.
who you know makes all the difference in your job search.
It
Welcome
does.
back, Heather Monahan. Man, we have already just had a ton of mic drops and
We've
just
had
aha
loads,
moments
yeah.
already.
Why don't we do this? Because we've had so many mic drops, right? Let's go to the audience real quick and let's ask them a question because we've got a giveaway. We're actually going to be giving away an autographed copy of Overcome Your Billings. So you're going to love that. Let's go. What's a good question for the audience we can do right now? Something that we've talked about already.
Did you already mention the name of her first book?
What is the one way to extinguish shame?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Great.
yeah.
one. Okay.
That's a good one, Heather.
How to extinguish the shame.
All right, how you
Tell us
handle
in the
that?
chat, what are we going to do? While we're waiting, I'm going to give some shout outs. We got Meg Rose, we got Andrea, we got
Meg
Jason
Rose
Hopper.
is with us.
Love it. Thanks, guys, for being here. We appreciate you. Oh, who's on? Let me go to Heather's channel. Heather,
Yeah,
what
while
do you
you're
got
going
over
there,
on
we
your
also
channel?
got
Are you
Jim
on that?
Ballard. We also got Hope. We have Andrea Waters, Bruce
Geneva
Pulver.
Silva.
Yeah. Oh, Paul Haggard, you do, and Jimmy Kim. Who do you got?
Over on Heather's channel,
got
we got
something,
Mark
Scott.
Jarrow, Daniel Hall. Let's see, Haley Donaldson. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you. And let's see now, who do we have with the answer? Who do
Bruce
you guys got?
Pulver was the first one that I saw. But
Who was it?
Bruce Pulver.
Bruce.
P-U-L-V-E-R.
Yeah.
Bruce,
right,
yeah,
Bruce.
throw light on it. He says, Bruce says, throw some light
Throw some
on it.
light on that.
Let's go.
Light it up.
Congratulations, Bruce. Congrats.
Light it up, Bruce. Bruce, you get a signed autograph of Heather's book.
Yeah.
I didn't sound like Don Pardo. I'm sorry.
Hey, Heather, I got a quick question for you. So this is your second book now. And for those non-authors like myself, okay, I'm going to be there one day. I'm getting there. I'm coming. I'm coming for you, Heather. I'm coming. But, like, what was different about the second book, creating and writing a second book versus the first? Tell me the difference, and what did you learn, and what were some takeaways from the second book versus the first?
Well, I'll tell you, like anything, the second time you do something, it's less scary, right? It seems easier because you
Right.
have one experience under your belt. So the difference for me is my first book I self-published. My second book, my new book, I wrote with HarperCollins Leadership, a traditional publishing house. So that's completely different. One, Confidence Creator, I wrote and published in 5 months. Overcome Your Villains is over 2 years in the making. So it's much slower. It's a much slower process. There's tons of people involved. I used to check in with one opinion, my own. Hey, Heather, do you like the name Confidence Creator? Heather, yes, I do. Okay, let's go ahead and we're making an executive decision. But now I'm checking in with a team of literally 100 people. I had to audition for the role of Heather Monahan to record the Audible version of my book.
Oh, you had to audition for yourself. Wow.
Love it.
Okay. So there's a lot more people involved, a lot more hands in the cookie jar, right? Is that a good thing or a bad thing in the way of, like, I know you said it took more time, but is it a better product at the end of the day? Is your second book better than your first book?
I don't know. It's sort of like kids, right? I mean, I love them both, right? I'm not a good person to judge that. I will say this, from the reviews that I've seen so far, a lot of people say you should read both books. A lot of people that in the reviews I'm seeing is you'll do better if you read Confidence Creator as well, in addition to Overcome Your Villains. So I don't know. I haven't heard one person say, wow, this book is so much better than your first, or your first was so much better than your second. I see people say that both have a lot of value. So I guess, I don't know, I'm going to have to wait and hear it from you.
Oh, wow.
All right. Okay.
Is it almost kind of like Overcoming Your Villains is the prequel, right? Because based on what you said, right, you have got to clear out the external villains so you can, look inwardly, right, at your own villain, and then build confidence comes after that. Is that an accurate statement?
That's an interesting way to look at it. I hadn't thought of it that way. One of the guidances or piece of guidance I received from HarperCollins is, because I self-published my first book, they did not want this one associated with it, meaning You can come in and read Overcome Your Villains. You do not need to read Confidence Creator first. That was really important to HarperCollins. So they're very separate. You don't have to read one or the other. You can pick up Confidence Creator or Overcome Your Villains. That was, a key element to them. But of course, I love both books, and the proof will be in the pudding, right? We'll see how many books I sell. If this outsells the first one and gets better reviews, then we'll have to say this one's better, but I'm just not sure yet.
Sounds like the majority of people will like both.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking from what I'm hearing right now, just from what I'm hearing you say, I almost would rather self-publish. Like you said, you're in control. It was quicker. It took you 5 months versus 2 years.
Okay, but there's one major holdback. It's so funny. When we think about selling anything, distribution points are a critical piece in the strategy for sales, right? The more points of distribution you have, potentially the more revenue and items you're going to sell. So when you self-publish, you essentially have one distribution point, Amazon. Now, when you go with a traditional publisher, you have hundreds. I mean, I'm on Books A Million. I'm on Barnes & Noble. I'm in Target. I'm in Walmart. I'm in China. I'm everywhere, right?
Dang,
so you have a massive amount of distribution points. But in the world in which we live, if you can't break through the noise, you might be in Barnes & Noble, but unless you have a big section, people are going to walk right by your book, right? So it really goes back to marketing and how do you differentiate your message from others? And then how do you amass enough testimonials to create momentum to hit some big opportunity so that your book can take off? And those are all the unanswered questions that everyone's looking for answers to.
Wow.
That is a mic drop.
Well, I on that note, so distribution, this is just, I'm just going behind the scenes here, okay? I like to go behind the curtain. Okay, distribution. Do you have to pre-order all of these books so that you could be on the shelves at Barnes & Noble and all that? So are you essentially, buying 1,000 books to put over at the store and 1,000 over there, and then if it sits,
so when you're with a traditional publisher, they're buying them. So they pay for all this stuff. When you self-publish, for example, I wanted more distribution points when I self-published. And I'm a salesperson, right? That's who I am at my heart. So I started going to Barnes & Noble myself, walking in the front door and saying, listen, I've got this amazing book. I'm going to bring a huge audience in here. I'll get press for you. Would that, excite you to bring in some books of Confidence Creator, a self-published book? And basically they said, yes, we want foot traffic. You're answering our problems that we have, We'd love to do it. However, you will have to pay for the book because publishing houses pay for it. So I had to bring in cases of books. Then they would put it in the Barnes & Noble. And if it didn't sell, I had to buy them back.
See, that's the type of stuff I'm trying to see. So in the other case, they buy the books, but then obviously if they're buying the books and they're upfronting that cost and expense, then they're taking a percentage of that purchase as well, I would assume. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the way that it works is you get an agent first, right? You have to have a literary agent. And so find an agent, go online. And, I went and looked for Rachel Hollis's agent, and then I just stalked her until I closed her. You have to write a book proposal, right? So you write a book proposal.
Hold on, Heather. Hold on. Because I've heard this story before. Hold on. I want you to tell the audience how you got her. You said you stalked her. Hold on. Tell us the full story about how you made that happen.
Yeah, so I just thought to myself, I want to go to someone who is where remember I said earlier, don't take directions from people who don't know how to get to where you're going.
Yeah.
I thought, who knows how to get where I'm going? Rachel Hollis was at the top of her game in 2019. So I thought if I can find her agent, she's got the blueprint and the plan to get me where I want to go. So I Googled her, I found her name. I went to her website. There was a contact me here, and I put myself in her shoes, and I thought, what would this woman respond well to? I gave her accolades for all the amazing work she'd already done, right? People like to hear what they're doing. That's great. I talked specifically about Rachel, about the book, and how blown away I was by the success they were having. And then I talked about how I could add a new revenue stream to her book of business without sabotaging or competing with any of her existing authors. I compared myself to Rachel Hollis, and then I said, I'll be nonfiction, I'm female, same-ish age group, whatever. However, Rachel leans heavy into religion. I don't. I lean heavy into business. So it's very complementary, not competitive. The woman responded right away, interested. Yes, let's get on a call. We jump on a call. I give her the pitch verbally. She's like, yes, yes, yes. You know what, Heather, you might be a better fit for my partner. She leans more into business than I do. I want to kind of stick on the religion route. Great. She connects me to the partner. I get on the phone with the partner. I give the partner the pitch. partner says, great, I'm really interested. Can you go ahead and send me your book proposal? I didn't know what a book proposal was. I had written a book. I already had the book written. This is back in 2019. And I said, how about I send you the book? She said, I'm not reading a book. Send me the proposal. And I said, well, I don't know what a book proposal is. And she said, well, this is where our conversation ends. And I said, one last question. If you had a family member that wanted to write a book proposal, who would you send them to? And she said, Peter Economy. And I said, thanks. You'll hear from me soon enough. And then I tweeted at Peter Economy.
Who you know?
I tweeted at Peter Economy, hey, Peter, you can't believe this. I just hung up with Jill. I won't say her last name. She told me you and I have to work together. He called me immediately because she's a high profile agent. And he said, what happened? Who are you? What's going on? He and I hit it off. We were actually on a Zoom call together. We hit it off just personality wise. And I said, what's it going to take to write a book proposal with you? And he said, $20,000. And I said, okay. And so we wrote, I invested in myself, right? No one succeeds alone. You've got to either make the investment in yourself or do the work. And I didn't know how to do it. And for months, he and I worked on that proposal. And I went back to her with the proposal. She said no. We went back and rewrote it 14 times. She told me no. And then finally on the 15th rewrite, I got the yes.
Dang.
Wow.
What I love about that story is I love how you positioned it. And you got to know, they told you no, and you said, okay, one last question. If a family member was going to write this book proposal or need a book proposal, who would you send them to? Like, gosh, you're slick. You're really slick. I love how you positioned it. And it's like in a way that they can't say no to that. They're like, well, I would send them to this person. And wow, this is perfect.
Well, this comes through. Well, it does come through in your book as well. But, it also, and we've talked about this in the past, but it's been a while since we've talked about this. But success, right, is born by grit and tenacity, right? And for our audience, this is a great message because a lot of times we get that no, and we're like,
we're defeated.
Okay.
Yep. It's like somebody popped the balloon.
Yeah. Yep. And we don't look for other ways, other channels, other strategies to get to that ultimate goal if that's where we want to be. And it takes tenacity, it takes grit, and that's exactly what you had. And I know you talk about that in your book. Another question that we had is, what are some of the other takeaways? What are some key takeaways, other takeaways that we haven't discussed in your book?
Yeah, one of the things that I do differently in this book, and this was HarperCollins' idea, was not only do I break the book into 3 parts. Remember, we talked at the beginning, a 3-step process to overcome any adversity. To make that really clear, I wanted to set the book up such that someone could say, you know what, I'm great with my beliefs. That's not an issue for me. However, when I come to step 2, taking action, I freeze. Well, then what you want to do is cut right to the beginning of part 2, which is the action part of the book. And that's where you want to dive in because that's where the work needs to get done, right? We also put exercises at the end of every single section of the book. And then at the end of every chapter, we have a key takeaway that's a tactical step that you can implement in your life. Sometimes in some chapters, there's multiple tactical steps that you can take. But I wanted it to be more than just inspirational, motivational, right? Like it is inspiring. It is motivating. It's about overcoming adversity. However, you've got to dig in and do the work. No one's going to do it for you. You've got to implement the tactics. You've got to say, you know what, I'm getting better with my action steps. I'm good with my beliefs, but I have to start questioning the knowledge I'm surrounding myself with. I'm going to go back to the knowledge section again. I'm going to dive back in and hover in this right now until I can get this straight for myself. Because once you have this 3-step process mapped out, you will continue to use it again and again with success, and you will continue to move faster and faster through adversities.
Love that. Heather, I know the last time we talked, you had like a bundle going on with your book sale. Is that still going on? Because I remember this was a couple weeks ago, and it was like a limited. I don't know if it's still going on. Is the bundle still here? Can they still get the course bundle, or is that all done?
Well, I'll turn it on right now. It was done, but we'll turn it on right now through Friday so that people can go to overcomeyourvillains.com. And for anyone that orders the book, you upload your order number and you immediately get my $299 confidence video course for free, my Overcome Your Villains workbook for free, my 38 email accountability program for free, and a bunch of other things.
What? Okay, you see what I'm saying? Hey, look, you don't know unless you ask. See, I had to ask the question because I know she said she had turned it off and it was like it was running out. But look, It's all about who you know. So y'all need to go pick up that book because it's not just a book now. Guys, this is not just a book anymore. Like, books are great. I love books. But now you got the course to go with it.
Free 99.
Shoot, and all the other action stuff that you're doing. This is not just a book anymore. This is, oh, wow. Y'all need to go pick it up. That's all I'm saying. What was that website again? Tell them one more time.
Overcomeyourvillains.com.
As easy as that. Overcomeyourvillains.com.
That's good.
Heather, okay. What or who do you need to take yourself to the next level? Is there a person or a thing that you need to kind of take it to that next level? What would that be?
I'll tell you, I've been speaking my entire career. I never was paid for it before until I got fired and went out on my own, and I stumbled into the speaking business. So I've never had anyone coach me. I've never had anyone who's ahead of me say, I want to mentor you, until a month ago, I was speaking at an event here in Miami. And the keynote closer, I was like, there was a ton of speakers. I was maybe, number 5 or 6. But the person that closed out the entire event, which is typically the biggest speaker, the best speaker, was Tim Story. I had Tim Story. I know you guys know. You've had him on the show, right?
Yes, so he's amazing.
He's amazing. And I've had him on my show before, but not being together in real life is different, right? So I got there. I got to the venue. I was speaking a couple hours before him. He came down to watch me speak, which was so thoughtful of him, right? He left his hotel room. He could have been working, but he said, I'm going to come down and see you. He stayed for my entire speech, gave me so much praise in public, when I came off stage. And then he went to go on. I stayed through the rest of the day so I could see him speak. He got a standing ovation. Place went crazy, like nothing, much more crazy than my speech, right? He was by far, and I don't say this lightly, the best speaker there. He was a better speaker than I was. And I'm super competitive, so I'm being very, very objective here. But I think I'm really good. So he's walking out, and this was really powerful. He turned back to me, and he pointed his finger at me, and he goes, you can do this. You have this within you. So he spoke a belief into me, right? Remember what I said. He praised me publicly first. Now he was in public speaking a belief into me. And so I knew I got to go talk to him before he gets on the flight. I waited for everyone was chasing him, whatever. And I waited for that to pass. And I went up. We were on a special floor that only speakers could go to. So I went up to that floor, and he was sitting down. I walked up to him. I said, can you give me 5 minutes? And he said, I'm giving you more than 5. Sit down. And he kind of laid it out for me. He's like, you're not loud enough. You've got to be louder. He's like, you didn't have a sizzle reel to introduce you. Absolutely not. Like, he told me the things he said, you did not pause long enough. Your pause is too short. The power is in the pause. So he gave me these, for me, at where I was at in my speaking, that day made a big difference. My next speech that I had 2 weeks later, I got a standing ovation longer than I've ever gotten. And I truly believe it was because he gave me a couple of tweaks, just some things that I didn't know. The big one really was being louder. I never thought about that. And especially as a woman, he said, it's so important because most women don't, and most people think I'm super loud. But when I saw how loud this guy was, he was the loudest speaker out of everybody. And it was shaking people up somewhat like how Gary Vaynerchuk swears, and that shakes him up. It was a really cool strategy that he taught me, shared with me, and supported me. So I was super grateful.
Yes. Well, Tim Story is the man in the whole 50 grand. And wow, that is an amazing story. I did not know that. So, we've had him on before. So, audience, y'all go check out the episode on our YouTube channel with Tim Story. He's been on here before. He is amazing. He dropped a lot of mics, and the guy's just awesome. So, I love that. And now you are... it just came out. You're one of the top 50 keynote speakers, right? Like, talk to us about that real quick. We got a few more minutes. Top 50 keynote speakers. You're on there. Like, I saw Eric Thomas, E.T. was on there.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins is on there.
Oh,
like,
wow.
You're amongst the top 50 in the world. That's amazing.
It was, I had no idea. It just came out yesterday. Top 50 keynote speakers in the world. I was number 34. Yeah, it's insane. It's so, and my friend Tim Story isn't on that list, and that's so wrong. He needs, that's the one person I'll advocate. He needs to be on that list. And so I was so grateful, but really, I mean, I know I belong there, but when you actually see it, it's one of those, it's again, like someone speaking a belief and a truth into you that now I'm only going to go bigger. Now I'm only going to go farther, because this is just another sign of like what's to come. So I was super excited, really grateful.
Well, I'm excited for you, and you're just doing so many awesome things.
Number 34, wow.
We're grateful for, your relationship with the Who You Know community, and thank you for all that you do. You are speaking life into our community. Your message is perfect for our audience, so you're welcome here anytime. I told you, whenever you come to Dallas, I want you in the studio for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And let's make that happen, right?
I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we got to drop some mics in real life, right? And so that's going to be fun. Let's see. Any last questions you guys have before we wrap things up?
Just real quick, knowing that our audience is primarily job seekers, is there one kind of like piece of just fire that you can just impart to them in closing?
You need to separate yourself from the mass of mediocrity that's out there. So whether it's going to be you do more due diligence and research the person more, you come up with some kind of savvy, interesting way to connect to them that's going to have meaning and allow them to remember you. But don't just go and pitching you. Get these people to empty their glass. Get them to feel special. And the more you can make other people feel special, the more they're going to want to help you. They're going to want to work with you. And that's the difference maker.
Love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep, you got to separate yourself. Guys, make sure you go. Do me a favor right now. I need you to do me a favor right now. I need you to take a screenshot. If we can pull the 4-box back up, take a screenshot right now of Heather. Heather, pull up your book. If you got your book, put it up in there. Yeah.
There
okay.
it is.
And take a screenshot. And I want you guys to post this. This is your content, okay? Remember we talk about you need to be posting and putting stuff out there? This is your content. I need you to post this. I need you to share it. And I need you to tell Heather how much you appreciate her. What's your number one takeaway from this show? Put that in there, right?
Right.
And blow her up and hit her up in the DMs and on her website and all that good stuff. You guys need to go get the book, get the course, get the bundle. She's hooking you up till Friday, all right?
That's
Guys,
right.
it's all about who you know. That's the show. Bye. Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate you all.
Trevor Houston here, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Who You Know Job Networking Show. We hope you've been inspired, encouraged, educated, and entertained all at the same time. For information on our different events, workshops, partners, or partnership opportunities available, check out whoyouknow.show for more details. And be on the lookout for our new mobile app. You never know how this show can help someone you know? And if we've made an impact or put a smile on your face today, don't forget to hit that share button on your way out. Until next week, it's all about who you know. Bye.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Faith without works is dead. I don't wanna die so soon. I got moves to make instead. I ain't scared, I'm prepared. Big ideas inside my head.